Well, Dave, I think you have to be pretty happy through 2 games with your defensive efforts. You've only really allowed 3 goals in 2 games. Offensively, just what has to change for you guys to break through offensively?
You know what? You just got to keep pounding away. We had some tight opportunities. I thought our power play had some opportunities, but it's a tight game. You got to find a way to will one in the net, and they've got a couple breaks, and we haven't got any breaks around the net. So both goaltenders played well. It's just a fortunate bounce. The one goes off. I think it goes off Lars's hand or hip at the end there, but we got to regroup and go into Winnipeg and find a way to be a little better.
You loaded up Draisaitl with McDavid, and your team was pretty much even in shots. The first period, maybe Winnipeg controlled it. What did you think or like of your second, third, and fourth lines tonight?
I thought the first game they were good. We kind of shuffled things up to see if we could change some momentum. Early in the game, we took that first penalty early, 3 minutes in or whatever, and it's hard. You get out of rotation early. We took 2 penalties early, and then we had a power play late in the period and didn't do much with it. So it seemed like we were chasing a little bit. But the second and third period, I thought we played a lot better, and it comes down to a break. So you're trying to find somebody. You just find somebody to make that play that counts for you.
Terry Jones, Post Media.
But Dave, can you speak to the challenge ahead, and particularly, I know there hasn't been much time to analyze it, but how do you think this team is going to respond to this over in Winnipeg?
Well, I think our team has responded to adversity at different times all year. So I look at it as I think we were tied with Washington for the best road record in the league this year. We got to go in, and there's some things in our game that we can do better, and there's some things you like about our game. So we got to go in there. There's going to be tight games. You got to find a way to win a game. That's what you're doing. That's what our goal will be.
Is it too early to ask you if you're going to go with Smitty back to back?
Yeah, we'll go game to game.
Thank you.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Yeah, Dave, it just seems like the hockey has changed so much. We've all been around playoff hockey and seen a bunch of it, but it's so stark. You guys in the Jets played all these high-flying 6-5 games, and now it's like 0-0. Is this even more abject change than you're used to, than you've seen?
Well, you got to look at, both teams. Both teams, I think, during the regular season, probably relied on more offense than defense. Now it comes to playoffs, and you got to rely on your defense as much as your offense. Offense gets harder, and you got to make sure you defend. So the mindset changes a little bit because you got to defend as hard as you can, and that's just where the game is.
So you've got a team that's clearly learned to defend, and that's a huge step forward.
Yeah.
But now learn to defend at this level and still produce something, right? Anything.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to find. It's like we talked about this morning. I'll take pretty goals if we get something on a rush, but you got to find some of those ugly goals. Find a way to will one in the net, and we haven't been able to do that.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hi, Dave. Obviously, in regular playoffs, this building would have been jumping tonight regardless. Without any fans in it, does that change the dynamic of home ice advantage? Like, are you going to Winnipeg now? Is it not as intimidating as it would be if the fans were in the building?
Yeah, I've said that all along. It just, the home and road thing, the emotion of the buildings and that is, nobody has an advantage either way. So it's, you go in there, it's almost a sterile environment with, but once the puck drops, like you tell before the game, and there's not the energy in the building, but then once the puck drops, players, they play, and it's different a little bit, but you're engaged in a game like this tonight. It's a tight game. You're engaged all the time. You're not thinking about the fans then, but you certainly miss the energy in the building.
And with so much focus on, obviously, Leon and Connor, how much did you get out of your bottom 2 lines today? Did you like their contributions, or do they got to give you more to get back in the series?
Well, it's a tight game. We need, in tight games like this, you need contributions throughout your lineup, whether it's defensively and that your offensive players have to play well defensively, and everybody has to be expected to try to chip in. And when you're tight games like this, 0-0 game, it doesn't matter who chips in. You just got to get one. And you'd like to see that, not have to rely on Connor and Leon all the time. But that being said, there's parts of our game that it's a tight game. You just got to find a way to make that one chance count for you.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
Dave, you really leaned on a few players with a lot of ice time in the third period, especially and going forward. Nurse and Draisaitl really stand out. What went into that decision, and what did you see from those two players tonight?
Wow, they're just different points of the game that it's the role they play on our team. Draisaitl got a few more minutes early because he was taking some face-offs and PK early, and Nurse's played big minutes the whole year. So that's just where we are with our team.
And Mike Smith, I mean, he really kept you guys in it for the first part of the game. What did you see from him in his second game of the playoffs this year?
Well, he was excellent. You saw it just like I saw it. He was an excellent player.
Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Dave, you guys faced adversity at different points this year. This is a little bit different, but how has your team grown in ways this year that kind of leads you to believe you'll handle being down in this series the way you are properly, and that the pressure of this, that your team will handle it properly?
I think the growth in our team, we talked about it after the game. We've been continually getting better all year. We've had some bumps we had to cross here, so it's one of those bumps. We got to come out better on the other side, and we got to take it one game at a time and just find a way to win the next game.